All right, let's start with your name and the medium you work in.
My name is Becky McNeill, and I am a modern quilt artist.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your education and background?
I actually started quilting as a child. I was following in the footsteps of my great-grandmother. She made traditional style bed quilts, and she did the entire process totally by hand. From cutting each individual tiny piece with a pair of scissors to stitching them all together with a needle and thread, and then making the final process of quilting the layers together also with the hand. But I quickly decided that the rules, the rigidity, and the repetition of the traditional quilt making style didn't exactly match my personality. So I moved into the modern quilt movement and eventually discovered the improvisational piecing style that you would see in my work today.
Well, great. So you mentioned your great-grandmother. Is there anybody else or anything else that has inspired you to pursue art?
I think my great-grandmother obviously was the inspiration for my initial love of quilting. My grandmother and my mother were also influenced by my great-grandmother to become quilters. But other than that, I think it was just sort of a natural part of who I was and sort of developed organically over time.
Perfect. For the series that you provided for Mosaic this year, is there a theme or inspiration behind that?
Yes. I actually read an essay titled The Enchanted Woods, which was written by Vernon, which is actually a pen name for Violet Paget. She was a British writer. And in that essay, she describes in really rich and vivid detail what she calls the magic of the Enchanted Woods. And she pretty much convinces the reader that you could only find this type of magic in a fairy tale. And just as she has you convinced of that, she reveals that in truth, in her opinion, the only way to truly find this magic is to open your eyes to what is right outside your very own door. So she urges us to stop yearning to travel to far-flung places and to just look at what's right around us. So that message really spoke to me long before the pandemic was even a blip on our radar. But then as we began to spend more and more time within our own homes, it seemed even more important to me that we learn to give as much reverence to a walk around the block as we would to a stroll along the banks of some foreign river. And only when we learn to do that would we be able to find the beauty and the magic and the happiness in our everyday lives that we tend to find when we're on our once-a-year vacation. So I took her words and her phrases and the colors that she describes, and I shaped those with fabric into a vision of an enchanted woods. But I left it a little bit abstract, so you do still have to do a little bit of work searching for that magic that's right within your grasp, which I think is what Lee would want us to have done.
Oh, great. And then the last question I have is, why is art important?
I think art is important for a laundry list of reasons. It can bring beauty into a world which is sometimes rather ugly. It can be a creative outlet for the artist. It can carry messages and emotions into the world that words sometimes have difficulty expressing. It can share issues in society that people sometimes have difficulty expressing themselves. It can serve as a witness for future generations, and I do think the art that we're creating today will definitely serve that purpose as we are living in a pretty unique time right now. But I think probably the reason that is most important to me, that I think art is so crucial, is simply that it brings joy, both to the creator and to those who experience it.
Oh, perfect. So that's the end of my questioning. I don't know if there was anything that wasn't part of these questions that you wanted to add before I let you go.
I think the only thing I would add is that Mosaic is one of my favorite art exhibitions in the Corning area each year, and I'm incredibly excited to be a part of it again. And I would like to thank everyone who is supporting the event. You're supporting both our local artists in the community and 171, which is incredibly important to my family, but also a great asset to our community. So your support is greatly appreciated.
Great. Thank you very much.